Hi, good morning, everyone. I think it's still morning. Sorry I'm so late. I've had a couple of really early mornings because my mind has just been working. Not on anything in particular, but I don't know. It just won't stop. It just won't stop, I suppose, is what all I'll say on that. But also, my body's been responding to food differently. Now, I know that this is all part of the upgrades that we humans are going through at the moment. But anyway, today is... I don't even know why I told you all that. Okay, somebody who's going to watch this needed to know that, all right? So you're welcome. You're not strange, you're not going weird. It's just, I think you needed possibly to be reassured. Sorry, I'm a bit shaky this morning. Needed to be reassured that all's going fine. It's okay. You're normal. You haven't developed a new health problem. Or that is to say, if you're worried about it, you should obviously go see your doctor. But I would say for the most part that it's just part of how we're evolving, how we're remembering. But having said that, now, I had a very lucid, I like to call them learning dreams, where I actually came out of it with a message to share. Now, I'm sorry that I missed, first of all, okay, let's rewind. Okay, right, how good was that, right? Anyway, see, my mind. I apologise for not coming online for last night's meditation. After having 2 days of very early morning, so I'm talking like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then waking up at, 9, 10, 11. So still getting the sleep, but not really resting. I was just tired last night, so I went to bed. But I'll make it up for you this evening, I promise, with a meditation around what we're going to talk about now. So what I dreamt about was I went to my sacred learning space. As always, it's a beautiful stone structure. It reminds me very much of the old, like it had the old Doric columns, very much Greek architecture and stuff. And inside, it's all beautifully carved stone with relief, and my team sitting there, my panel of guides, and also aspects of the higher self that I'm traveling with at the moment. And what they showed me in the middle of this, it was like a hologram, and it was just, I was blown away. It was incredible. And what I saw, so first of all, I saw the human DNA, how DNA is normally depicted, right? So the double helix, okay, and then it turned. Like I saw it. It went from one form, which at the moment is carbon based, to hi Mel, how you going, babe? To crystalline. Now, I've been talking about this for ages, if not 12 months, possibly a little bit more in my head, because I thought, no, that just, I doubted myself. So this is just confirmation to me that all of this stuff that is happening to me physically and mentally added or in addition to the way my thinking has developed, is all about current human experience in this energetic playground. And so what I, oh my God, my words, I'm just, okay, stop, breathe. Okay, so thank you. My team tapping me on the shoulder saying, slow down, babe, slow down. Because it gets me excited, right? When I have dreams like this and I feel like I need to share it, and this one definitely I do need to share it. So it's really important that we understand that, now, I don't know how many of you know, but I've written a couple of articles, and one of them was on Akashic consciousness. And that is most of you, as I'm talking about this, would have heard at some time in your life, especially if you believe in reincarnation, the Akashic records. So the Akash consciousness is the grid, the overlay, the energetic grid that is contained within that. Now, as interdimensional spiritual beings, right, that are having a human experience, that's what we are. And it's important that you understand that we are connected to that grid, okay? And it is diffused through us, okay? And it is used by us. Whether we are aware of it or not, it is used every day by us. Now you think about the things that came naturally to you, all right? That come naturally to you, that you can pick up with ease. You know, for me, it's languages, singing, and in my youth, when my physical body, from my perspective, could manage it, I was really good at basketball, and just being athletic, running, jumping. Okay, so I've come to know that there are higher aspects of myself where that was my mission, to spread my message, to spread my love and big love and my caring and understanding through those gifts, right? So what is that for you? That's the first thing I'll ask. What is that for you? Because getting a notification out of the way. It's important that you just make that connection, okay? So something that comes naturally to you is what you're supposed to be doing, is how you're supposed to be expressing your message, your mission into this world. And that's something you can utilize to allow your growth, all right, in every aspect, your growth in every aspect. And through sheer observation, which is what we humans do, it's part of how we learn, that is how you can positively affect others, all right? You can spread that love and spread that joy through what you do well. Now, that's not to say that hard work will not be involved, because we still need to be in that space where you allow that. So that might be your hard work, is coming into that time and place and space where you can actually allow that to come forth from you. So that's the Akashic consciousness, all right? And I've just explained that we are plugged in. We can't help it. That's just we're plugged into that grid, all right? Now, for some of us, that connection's a bit scratchy and not so clear. And for some of us, as we've worked and put in the effort, it is quite natural now. All right. And for some of us, we were born with that natural capability of being able to acknowledge and understand and recognize that plug-in. Okay. Now, where it comes down, where I was shown this hologram, in the grid, in that particular form of matrix, was and it's like, what I saw was the pieces of a puzzle being put into this crystalline DNA. And every time a piece was put in place correctly, something new was released in me. Now that talks to me about the Akashic consciousness and everything that I have learned through the lifetimes. I know I am an old soul. If you are following me on this page, I'm quite certain you are also an old soul. I'm quite certain that what I'm saying now and everything I've ever said on this page resonates you, brings you joy, lifts your vibration up. That's because there's a part of you, quite a large part of you, whether or not you know it or have acknowledged it, understands what I'm saying. It hits home, because I'm taking you home, right? I'm giving you a glimpse of home, and that makes you feel good. So through my life, and I can only speak for me and my interpretation of this, but for goodness sake, get on there and tell me your experiences as well. This is what I've made this page about, sharing our experiences, raising our vibration. Anyway, so when a part of this DNA puzzle was put in properly, something else unlocked in me, right? And so whether that was my ability to write a book just like that, whether it was my ability to teleport, whether that was my ability to be a telepath, a clear communicator, mind to mind, right? So, and that just, I woke up going, whoa, because what was also intimated in that dream, and so real, I have absolutely no doubt that there is truth in it, because of course truth depends on my perception, right? Is that every time I went back after my transition from this earthly plane, another piece of the puzzle would be given to me, right? And that would unlock through my DNA a knowing. And so then I lived my next, I experienced my next phase of humanity with that knowledge. And every time I went back and came through and experienced something else unlocked. And slowly but surely, so remember I said, and I have been saying this now for months, we are interdimensional spiritual beings having a human experience, right? It's important. Interdimensional spiritual beings having a human experience. Okay, so I'm sorry if it feels like I'm pointing to you, but I feel like I need to get this information out. So it's really important that is running through the back of everything that I say, that you're remembering that. So every time I would come back, something else in my DNA would be unlocked and released. Okay, and then particular sets of behaviours around that, habits, beliefs, understandings, rememberings would be activated. Okay, so this was done whether or not I acknowledged it. Okay, now science tells us, and I'm not sure what the current numbers are, I'm happy to do more research if you want me to do that, that there's a particular percentage, a very large percentage. Now, the last time I read up on this, it was about 3 to 5%. 3 to 5% of the human DNA strand is known. And that's what we have been taught through school. If you ever did anything related to biology, it was known. Okay, that's what we were taught at school, or anatomy and physiology. That's what we were taught at school. It's basic stuff. And the rest was junk DNA. Junk DNA. Why did they call it that? They didn't understand. Okay? And I get that, because, you know, a scientist by definition, although this is becoming less and less so, I have to say, now that more and more people are studying quanta and everything else, you know, that has been developed from quantum physics. Okay? So, but as a scientist, you need proof, right, of something. Now, they couldn't, for some reason, I'm not a scientist, I don't know. Well, not this lifetime. I'm a metaphysician though, okay? And so are you guys. If you're watching this, so are you. And you'll get this message. You'll understand it. In your heart, you'll understand it and you'll want to know more. So it's really important that we understand that the parts of the DNA that science considered junk was not able to be observed. It's not going to be able to be observed because we haven't gotten to the point where we can make instruments sensitive enough to observe more, although we're getting there, but also because our DNA is etheric. There are aspects of our DNA that are etheric and will never be able to be observed by any human-made object, okay? And this is where metaphysics comes in. So I put it to you. Now, believe me or don't believe me, I don't care. I know what I know, and I know what I am being taught, and this is my truth as it stands. And that's okay if you disagree, but please give me a reason so that we can have a chat about it. That's what I'm all about, having conversations. Not saying no, but having conversations. Interesting. Let's talk about that. Okay? So it's I'm just going to look. I've been rambling on for too much and saying lots of stuff, so I'm just going to wrap it up. So I put it to you that every time we've come back, that etheric part of our DNA, when we've experienced something, when we've learnt something that reaches up into the ether, that acknowledges our connection to spirit, part of our DNA structure, that etheric part, is released, and then another part of us is activated. A higher aspect, the connection to our higher selves is activated. So when we talk about DNA activation, I really feel that that's a bit of a misnomer. It's It's that releasing. It's the releasing of the DNA material, the genetic material that is encoded in Akashic consciousness. I'm so excited. I can tell I'm excited because I'm being quite... Okay, so I'm sorry if that's affecting you in any way. I'll pull it back. As we journey, use your words, Pay, and breathe. As we journey, we are able to go back, read our Akashic records, understand how that helps us with our development, make that choice to come back, put that Akashic lesson into our live stream, right? Make sure that it's included and already encoded in our physical grid, have particular experiences and have that DNA released so that particular aspects of us are activated. Okay, guys, look, I'm going to do a meditation on that tonight, and I'm going to incorporate it into the live session that I have coming up this evening. And I believe I've put that down for 7:30 or 7, and I think I allowed an hour and a half. Quite possible we'll be going for 2. Now, I'm going to do the meditation first. It's not going to be a long one. I'm probably going to allow, how long, guys? Okay, they're saying 15 minutes max. 15 minutes max, we're going to drop into our sacred space, and then we're going to look at what it is we do well and how we can have or acknowledge particular experiences that will release that etheric DNA so that we can take that next step. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me this morning, and I'll see you tonight. Bye.